Evolution is one of the unifying themes in the field of biology. Charles Darwin proposed that the driving force behind evolution is natural selection, a mechanism in which individuals that are better adapted to their environment survive and reproduce more successfully than others. Darwin asserted that this process shaped early life on Earth and that it is still ongoing today. To understand how natural selection works, imagine an animal that blends in with its environment. This animal is less likely to become prey than one that is colored in a way that makes it stand out. The color of the animal that blends in with its environment is called an adaptation, and the animal is said to have a higher fitness than the one that doesn't blend in. In other words, it is more likely to reproduce and pass on its advantageous traits. This is sometimes referred to as survival of the fittest. One of the best-known observations made by Darwin, which led him to propose natural selection as a mechanism of evolution, were the ones he made regarding the beaks of finches living on the different Galapagos Islands. He explained the differences in the sizes and shapes of beaks by stating that, even though they had all originated from the same ancestral finch, over time the finches adapted to the specific foods available on the different islands. For example, the large ground finch, which has a large, powerful beak, is found on islands where large seeds are the main source of food, whereas the small tree finch with small curved beaks lives on an island where insects are the main source of food. In addition to the observations made regarding the finches on the Galapagos Islands, Darwin made several other observations that led him to propose natural selection as a mechanism for evolution. He observed that in any population there's variation in inherited traits and that there's competition for resources. From these observations, he inferred that in the struggle for existence, those individuals who are better suited for the environment will be more successful than other individuals, causing their traits to spread in a population over time. It's important to note at this point that Darwin built his idea of evolution by natural selection without any understanding of how offspring inherit genes from the parents. Natural selection is one of the several mechanisms of evolution, and it is the only mechanism that always leads toward adaptation. Better suited organisms reproduce more, spreading adaptive traits within a population. Natural selection acts on individuals, but evolution happens at the population level because it is measured by changes in the genetic makeup of a group. With each generation of natural selection, a population will become better adapted to its current environment. As an example, imagine a population of butterflies in which some have a genotype for blue wings, so big B, big B. Some have a genotype for purple wings, big B, little b, and some have a genotype for pink wings, little b, little b. The environment in which the butterflies live selects against blue butterflies because they are the preferred prey of a local bird predator. More blue butterflies are eaten by the predator than pink butterflies, which means that after several generations, the frequency of blue butterflies decreases or they may even disappear completely. The population adapts to the presence of this predator by shifting away from the preferred prey color. Sexual selection is a form of natural selection that focuses on reproduction. Natural selection involves two components of fitness, reproduction and survival. Under sexual selection, traits that increase reproduction are selected for. In many cases, these traits can reduce survival of the individual, but the overall fitness of the organism is still high due to the enhanced fitness for reproduction. Fitness is based on number of offspring. Thus, it can be argued that reproduction is more important than long-term survival because a very long-lived organism that never reproduces has zero fitness. Under conditions of sexual selection, mates are not randomly selected. There are two types of sexual selection: intersexual selection and intrasexual selection. Intersexual selection is a form of natural selection where mate choice by one sex results in different rates of success in reproduction between individuals. Mate choice is driven by the more selective sex, which is often the female because she invests more time and energy per offspring than the male. Intersexual selection can lead to elaborate body structures and behavioral displays aimed to entice potential mates. This type of selection might include singing, dancing, or displaying bright colors, such as the tail feathers in a male peacock. However, having elaborate ornaments is energetically costly and sometimes risky. A brightly colored bird, for example, will stand out much more against green foliage than a duller colored bird, so not only will a potential mate be more likely to notice it, but also a predator. This means there is an increased survival risk associated with the increase in reproductive benefit. With intersexual selection, competition among individuals of the same sex results in different rates of success in reproduction. This type of selection can lead to the development of weapon-like structures, such as horns and antlers as seen on moose, and large body size as seen in elephant seals, to use when fighting competitors for access to mates. The winner in these fights will get to mate and pass on its genes. However, the loser of the interaction often fails to mate at all.